Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the July 1st Nash County Commissioners meeting at this time, and I think we're all very thankful for getting a little bit wet this morning coming in, maybe. Sure did need the rain. Thank the good Lord for bringing it to us. It is customary for us to begin our meetings with a prayer by City Commissioner, and then the pledge of allegiance to the flag by City Commissioner. During this time of the prayer, you're welcome to stand and join us in this prayer. You're welcome to use it for your own prayer, or you're welcome to use it for a moment of silence, whatever you're led to do this morning. And this morning, we'll have Gwen Wilkins is going to lead us in the invocation, and then Commissioner Outlaw and the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Commissioner Wilkins.
Let us pray. God, we come before you with humble hearts and grateful souls. Thank you for guiding us each day. Thank you for your protection. Please give us the strength and wisdom to continue to serve the citizens of Nash County with conviction, determination, wisdom, and understanding. In his name we pray, amen.
Amen. Would you join us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have a request to add one item to the agenda this morning by our county manager, and it is the introduction of 2 new team members. If there's no objection to that, I will add it under as 5A under public comment. Any objection to adding that item? Okay, consider it added then, and I will say that Commissioner Belfield will join us momentarily. I think he had an emergency at home this morning he needed to attend to, but feel like he'll be here within 15, 20, 30 minutes maybe. We're now on item number 4, which is approval of the minutes, and we have 2 sets, which is June the 3rd and June the 17th. I'm sure you have had a chance to review those. I'd entertain a motion for any corrections or any additions or approval of the minutes as written at this time. Move for approval. Have a motion to approve both sets of minutes. There a second to that motion?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilkins, Commissioner Ayrton at the same time. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Minutes stand approved, and thank you, Madam Clerk. Job well done as always. We're now on item number 5. This is a public comment section that's on our agenda each first meeting of the month. And during this time, if you have anything on your mind you wish to speak to the commissioners about, you're welcome to come up and identify yourself, give us your address, and the board is always very delighted to hear from our citizens. There is a sign-up period out front before you come in the room. If you missed that part of it, we'd still like to hear from you. Be glad to have you come up, but I'll start with the ones that did sign up, and the first name I have on the agenda or sign-up list is Danny Vick. Mr. Vick, if you could come up and state your name and address for the record, the board would be tickled to hear from you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Appreciate your time today. My name is Danny Vick, and my address is 7096 Strickland Road in Bailey, and I'm a third-generation small farm owner from southern Nash County. And my request to you today is to add a standard for excessive noise to the Nash County Code of Ordinance, Section 16-54, and have that standard added to the variance of noise permit distributed by the Sheriff's Department. Section 16-54 of the County Code lists sound level limits, but that remains undefined and unstated on the noise permit. The Nash County Code requires respect for people living around the event. The permit, as written, simply indicates noise must end at 11 p.m. The permit basically protects the noise with no protection for the surrounding members. As an example of the noise standard in Wilson County, noise ordinance defines loud and disturbing noise as that which is clearly audible at a distance of more than 100 feet from the source, of the noise measured in a straight line from the source. There are also various devices, apps that can measure noise. My interest in this is due to a neighbor renting the house 180 feet from my house. On several occasions, his music can be heard inside our home. I have spoken with the tenant and the landlord with no success. I sent the landlord a copy of Nash Article 3 on noise to no avail. Last time we phoned the sheriff's office for a noise check, the officer report was address has a permit and is good till 2300. Consequently, I have done the following to try to avoid music being audible in my home. I built an 8-foot fence, 120 feet long. I gave it 3/4 of an acre of farmland, plus incurring the expense to plant over 100 trees and shrubs. And as a side note, it's not part of the handout that you'll get. As you're all aware, Nash County is experiencing tremendous growth. Residents are moving in from other states and countries. Making these changes will help the future of Nash County. Unfortunately, we live in a time that a problem that could once be handled with conversation now requires legislation.
All right, sir, we certainly appreciate their comments, and I'm sure y'all staff will be in touch with you about those items.
And I have a copy for each of you to read
Sure, you give those to the
with
clerk.
some attachments from things that we've selected.
Okay.
Thank you,
Appreciate you
Danny.
being here. Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is the item we added, which is going to be 5A, and I'll turn it over to the county manager at this time. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. I'm pleased, actually, let me go ahead and ask Tim to come up here and join me. So, good morning again.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm pleased to introduce Tim Kerrigan as our new HR director. Bringing over a decade of experience in North Carolina local government HR leadership, Tim joins Nash County from his previous role as HR director in the town of Smithfield, North Carolina, where he served enthusiastically for 12 years. Tim is a seasoned, senior certified HR professional with a deep commitment to public service and organizational excellence. He prides himself in staying at the forefront of industry trends and best practices. He brings a wealth of knowledge in HR policy development, employee relations, and organizational development, which will serve Nash County well. Tim officially joins us on July the 15th and will work alongside our HR director, Annison Kirkland, for a couple of weeks. I believe Tim brought his wife with him today, Allison, and so I'd like to introduce him to you and let him say a few words.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for having me. I am extremely excited to begin here with Nash County. The staff thus far has been extremely welcoming. It's been really a pleasure to get to know them so far, and I look forward to many years here in Nash County. So thank you for the confidence from each of them. The process was thorough and really enjoyable, and thank you for the confidence in each of you. I look forward to working alongside you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, on behalf of the board. We appreciate you joining us. Absolutely.
Did you want to introduce your wife?
I would love to.
Yes.
This is my wife of 27 years, very supportive, and thank you very much for coming today.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Got him in a jacket and a tie today.
I see that.
So, our second introduction this morning is someone that they were already very familiar with, Mike Phillips. Mike has been promoted into the role of our Public Utilities and Facilities Director. Mike previously served as our Assistant Director for Utilities and Facilities. Mike brings more than 17 years of experience focusing on public infrastructure with a specialization in water and sewer utilities, streets, stormwater management, and facility maintenance. Mike has been with Nash County for just over 6.5 years, and prior to his time at Nash County, he held various municipal infrastructure positions at the city of Rocky Mount. He earned his Master's of Public Administration at East Carolina University in 2018. Outside of his professional endeavors, Mike's family plays a significant role in his life. His wife, Misty, is a nursing professor at East Carolina University, while their daughter pursues her studies in Parks and Recreation Management. For all of us who know Mike, we know that we can count on his calm, steady demeanor and his dependable follow-through. And no one is more pleased to have him officially in this new role than Mr. Boone. And I will let you introduce yourself to the board.
Thank you. Well, thank you to the managers and Mr. Boone and commissioners. I have been here 6.5 years, and I really enjoy working with the staff, all the department heads and the commissioners. You know, Public Utilities and Facilities has an amazing staff, and I just look forward to working with them in this new role.
Thank you, sir.
I will say I did not bring my wife. She will catch this on YouTube. I didn't tell her it was going on because her and my daughter are at the beach this week, and my daughter only gets a weekend off every now and then, so I figured I'd just let them be. So she's probably already in the doghouse, just haven't got home yet tonight.
I bet so.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate what you've done in the past. Well, that's very exciting for us to get 2 new team members and department heads, and we've always had excellent department heads in Nash County, and there's certainly no reason that this board doesn't see this morning that we will continue that tradition moving forward, and thank the staff. I know y'all do a very thorough interview. I've heard you chat about it a little bit, how you go through it, and it's very encouraging to this board that you do spend the time that you do to employ the people at the top that we do employ, and thank the staff on behalf of the board. All right, we'll move into the exciting stuff. We'll move on to item number 6, which is a public hearing on general rezoning request Z240601 Riverstone subdivision. And I'll call on our planning director, Adam Tyson, at this time. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. This is the first of 2 rezonings on the agenda this morning. This is a general rezoning. The subject property is outlined in red on both the aerial photo and the zoning map on the screen before you. This is a 7.21 acre tract of land owned by Williams Builders of Rocky Mount. It's on the east side of South NC Highway 58, Elm City, just north of Winston Crossroads, which of course is the intersection of Highway 58 and Highway 97. It's also just north of the Nash-Wilson County line. You can see in the photo, it's between the River Bend Landing subdivision to the north, which is here, and the Dollar General retail store to the south down here at the intersection. And there's a used car dealership at this corner of the intersection, just to get you oriented. Subject property is currently zoned RC Rural Commercial, as denoted by the kind of pinkish color on the zoning map on the right-hand side of the screen. That's because it was previously intended to be a part of the Winston Crossing Commercial Park project. But back in December 2021, the Nash County Planning Board approved a sketch plan at the owner's request for the development of the Riverstone subdivision on the subject property. This is Highway 58 to the left, and you have a single cul-de-sac road with 12 new residential lots arranged around that road. All of those lots would be accessed by the new interior road, and it would also be served by Nash County Public Water and individual private on-site septic systems. At the time of this sketch plan being approved back in December of '21, the rural commercial zoning district permitted the development of medium-density residential land uses, and the approved minimum lot size requirement of 20,000 square feet was dictated not by the zoning regulations, but by the applicable requirements of the WS4CA Watershed Protection Overlay District. The developer followed up with the approval of the sketch plan by submitting a preliminary construction plat within the required 12-month period. That is the document that shows the engineered details for the construction of the new road. Then they have proceeded with construction of the new road, which was paved in the last few weeks. However, the board might recall that in February of 2022, after the approval of this subdivision, the Board of Commissioners adopted a text amendment to the UDO which prohibited the development of residential land uses in non-residential zoning districts like this RC Rural Commercial Zoning District going forward. So that leaves these 12 proposed new residential lots in a somewhat awkward position. The developer has permission to build the road and to subdivide the lots because he has never allowed his initial approval to expire. However, we're not able to issue zoning permits anymore for single-family dwellings because single-family dwellings are not permitted in the RC zoning district any longer due to that text amendment. So in response to that situation, the property owner and developer has submitted today's general rezoning request to rezone the property from RC to RA40, single-family residential. That is the same zone as the adjacent subdivision, this kind of dark orange brownish color. That's the zone that's being requested for the subject property. Approving this request would have 3 substantial impacts on the subject property. First, there's a wide range of retail, office, shopping, and service commercial land uses that are currently permitted for development on the subject property that would no longer be permitted for development once the zoning was changed. Number 2, the rezoning would make residential land uses like single-family dwellings and customary residential accessory uses and structures like swimming pools, detached garages, things of that nature. The things that were prohibited in the current RC zoning district would be made permissible under the new zoning district. And then finally, as I've already alluded to, the subject lots are smaller than the standard 40,000 square foot minimum lot area because they were approved under the commercial zoning. They range from approximately 20,000 to 30,000 square feet each. If approved, the rezoning would render those lots as legal non-conforming lots, meaning that they are legally approved through the subdivision process, but do not conform to the current zoning. And one thing that means is that they may only be developed for single-family residential use. So even if there are other permitted uses in RA40, the legal non-conforming status of these lots requires them to only be developed as single-family residential lots. As with all rezonings, we refer to our comprehensive land use plan and review the consistency of the request with that plan. This request is consistent with the recommendations of the plan because, as you can see, the subject property is in this green residential agricultural area, and the permitted residential land uses of the proposed zoning district are consistent with that area. It is also consistent with the growth that the plan anticipates for this area, particularly in areas where the county has a public water line, as it does along South NC Highway 58. This request may be considered reasonable in the public interest and not spot zoning because, as I mentioned, this would be an expansion of the immediately adjacent RA40 zoning district here in the orange color. So it would not be a standalone spot zone. The Nash County Technical Review Committee considered this request back on May the 30th and recommended approval. The Planning Board considered this request on June 17th. Mr. Ron Sutton with Herring Sutton and Associates addressed the board on behalf of the applicant in support of the request, and there were no other members of the public at that time that addressed the board with regard to the request. Therefore, the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval. Your report in your agenda packet includes a motion to approve the zoning map amendment or a motion to deny the zoning map amendment. Along with both of those are a statement of plan consistency and reasonableness. And Mr. Sutton is here again on behalf of the developer to represent this request during the coming public hearing. And with that, I'll pause and take any questions that the board has on the staff report.
Questions from board members at this time of Mr. Tyson? Ms. Leggett?
Mr. Tyson, got just a clarifying question to want to make sure I'm clear on. We're being asked to rezone this to R20, but a subdivision plan is already in place for lots that are R20 and R30. Is that correct?
You're being asked to rezone it to RA 40.
40, that's,
But the subdivision lots would be smaller than the standard minimum requirement of 40,000 because it was approved prior, yes.
okay. And in the requirements, are there any buffers mentioned since there will be it will be abutting an R40 neighborhood and these are not R40 lots?
The zoning, or the Unified Development Ordinance does not require any mandatory screening between residential uses, even if the density is different. Well, between single-family residential uses, even if the density is different. So there is no screening required by the ordinance or included in the zoning
Okay, thank you.
request.
Thank you.
Other questions? Mr. Tyson, I listened to you, but I don't quite understand. We're going to RA 40 because of the watershed?
We're going to RA 40 because because this subdivision was approved in a commercial zone, and the commissioners have since removed residential land uses for being a permitted use in a commercial zone. So they need to rezone it to a residential zone so that houses would be permitted.
So why do we go to R 40?
Because it matches the adjacent property and the land uses will be the same. The board could go to RA 20, but in discussing it with the applicant, we thought that their best shot at success would be to match what was around them as close as possible, even if the lots would be slightly smaller.
And there's nothing in the watershed that prevents you from developing R 20 lots with the septic tank?
So the original commercial zone that it was approved under had a much smaller minimum lot size of 6,000 square feet, which of course would not be realistic for septic systems. But it was the watershed overlay district that required them to meet a minimum 20,000 square foot minimum lot size. And so these lots are compliant with the watershed.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Entertain a motion to go into public hearing on this matter at this time. So moved. Moved by Commissioner Outlaw. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Combs and Commissioner Arrington. Any questions on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, this time we are in a public hearing on this rezoning request, and if there's anyone here this morning that wishes to speak for or against this item, we ask you to come forward at this time and state your name and address for the record. Morning, Mr. Sutton.
Morning, Mr. Davis. Good morning, members of the board. My name is Ron Sutton with Herring Sutton Associates in Wilson, North Carolina, 2201 Nash Street Northwest. Just here to say that we concur with staff and with planning board recommendations to you and request that you approve the request as presented. Be glad to answer any questions any member of the board may have.
Any questions of the engineer on this item while we have him before us? Appears not, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Anyone else wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing at this time.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Leggett, is there a second?
Second.
Second by several. Mr. Arrington, I heard first, I think. Any questions on that motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Public hearing is now closed, and any other questions from board members of the staff? Seeing none, pleasure of the board.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Nash County Board of Commissioners adopt the statement of plan consistency and reasonableness as listed in the agenda and approve the general rezoning request.
Have a motion for approval with those items stated under the item number. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilkins. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Motion stands approved. Thank you, Mr. Sutton. Next item on the agenda is item number 7, and it is another conditional rezoning request, CZ 240602, 2106 Cabin Path Lane. Mr. Tyson?
All right, I seem to have lost the ability to advance the slides, but they're going to do it for me, I think. If we could go one forward. This subject property is the small lot highlighted in red on the zoning map in front of you. It's a 2-acre lot. It's owned by Brian and Kim Colbert. It's located at 2106 Cabin Path Lane, which you can see is off the west side of South MC Highway 58, which runs up and down the right-hand side of the map that you're looking at. Cabin Path Lane is a 20-foot wide access easement that provides access to this lot and a few other lots. This property is zoned R40, as denoted by the darker green color, and it is south of the town of Nashville. You'll notice to the south and west of the subject property, there's kind of a rectangle here of lighter colored A1 CU zoning. This was established by the board back in April of 2017. That consists of 89.5 acres, and it was made at the request of the same property owner. This area is subject to a condition. It allows all the regular land uses of the A1 zoning district, but is subject to a specific condition to prohibit the development of an outdoor shooting range. There was an unauthorized outdoor shooting range on this property in the past, which led to that condition, and that is certainly not a problem at this location any further. The same property owner has now acquired this subject property and has submitted this conditional rezoning request to rezone it to A1CZ. The primary interest is to replace an old demolished dwelling on the property with a Class B single-wide manufactured home. In this aerial photo, you can see the location of the now demolished home and the desire of the property owner to place a single-wide on this lot. Single-wides are not a permitted use in the R40 zoning district, so the request is to rezone this property to match essentially the A1 CU zoning, which is found in that rectangle. This will complete the top right-hand corner of that rectangle that was rezoned back in 2017 and allow the placement of one single-wide manufactured home. One of the proposed conditions would allow the subject property to be developed in the future for any permitted land uses that are common to both the current R40 and the proposed A1 zoning district. What that means is that the only new land use that the board would be approving for this property would be a single-wide mobile home. Anything else that was ever done on it would have to comply with the same R40 standards that are in place now. It also means that if the applicant chose to upgrade this to, for instance, a modular or a stick-built home in the future, they could do that without having to go back through the rezoning process, because those also are land uses permitted in both the A1 and the R40 zoning districts. The request is consistent with the recommendation of the land use plan because the plan designates the subject property as residential agricultural area. You can see it exists in the green designated area here that is pretty much uniform aside from the areas we want to protect for our water sources and environmental protection areas in the blue. Also, the land use plan explicitly lists Class B single-wide manufactured homes as a typical residential land use to be allowed in that area, and the request would not change the minimum lot size requirement of the permitted residential density or the permitted residential density of the subject property. Because this is a lot served by an easement, it's only permitted to have one home, and so it will continue to only be allowed to have one home. The request is just that that home be allowed to be a single wide. The request may be considered reasonable in the public interest and not spot zoning because, as I already stated, it would be similar to and compatible with the already existing large immediately adjacent A1 CU zoning district to the south of the property. And again, it would complete the top right-hand corner of this already existing rectangle. Also, the subject property already is and will continue to be zoned for residential use, similar to the adjacent and surrounding properties. The Technical Review Committee considered this request back on May the 30th and recommended approval. The Planning Board considered the request on June 17th. There was no one present to address the board with regard to the request, and the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval. Again, you have a motion to both approve or deny the request in your packet. Both have accompanying statements of plan consistency and reasonableness, and the motion to approve comes with 4 development conditions that are suggested by the TRC and the Planning Board. They are very standard for our conditional rezonings. I would call your attention to development condition number 1 at the bottom of page 15. The subject property will be approved for the development of a Class B single-wide manufactured home and/or any permitted land uses common to both the R40 and the A1 zoning districts in accordance with the standard requirements and procedures established for those in the R40 zoning district. So again, that means the only new land use that this rezoning would allow would be the proposed single-wide, and it would also allow the upgrade to a modular or stick-built home in the future if the property owner wished to, without having to go through the public hearing rezoning process. Mr. and Ms. Colbert, the property owners and developers, are with us this morning to address the board during the public hearing if they need to, and I'll be glad to take any questions on the staff report.
Questions, Mr. Tyson? Thank you, sir. Entertain a motion to go into public hearing on this matter.
Move to open the public hearing.
A motion by Commissioner Legg, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Combs. Questions on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now in a public hearing to hear from anyone that wishes to speak on this conditional rezoning request. And if you're here this morning, please come forward at this time, either for or against the item. State your name and address for the record. All right, see no movement. I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing at this time.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Leggett, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilkins. Questions on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Public hearing is now closed. Is there any further questions from Mr. Tyson at this time? Seeing none, pleasure to the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Leggett.
I move that the Nash County Board of Commissioners adopt the statement plan of consistency and reasonableness in our agenda packet and approve the conditional rezoning request CZ 240602 to rezone the property to A1 CZ, subject to the development conditions listed in the agenda.
Okay. Have a motion for approval of the item as stated. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Outlaw, Commissioner Wilkins.
I defer to Commissioner Wilkins.
Commissioner Wilkins. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the item, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Item stands approved as well. Next item on the agenda is item number 8, which is a presentation of factual information in response to non-factual information shared in the local media. And I'll call on our manager this time to make this informational item. Good morning, ma'am, again.
Good morning. So this morning, we'd like to just address lots of things that we're hearing out in the media. On multiple occasions, inaccurate, invented, and baseless information has been shared on media platforms such as television media, radio media, and social media. Nash County will begin taking an opportunity at this first meeting of the month to establish an agenda item to address untruthful claims that are brought to our attention. In a recent television segment, the caller stated, "The public needs to know," and we could not agree more. Therefore, we will be transparently presenting factual information to correct the deceptive statements that we hear.
It's a good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. I hope you are.
I'm fine. Did you get a good vacation in?
I tell you, I did. It's at a stage in my life that just sitting in the air-conditioned place, getting a few munches, maybe have an adult beverage occasionally. I can't say much about it other than it was nice.
Well, I don't know if I'm on the air or not, but I've got something.
You are.
that need
You
to know.
are. Go ahead.
My understanding is from a fairly reliable source that the county's fund balance is nowhere near the $29 to $30 million that it's been stated that its balance is.
Okay.
That 14 to 17 million of that is monies that was given to the county from the state that is part of the Recovery Act
Mm-hmm.
from COVID. Those monies have to be spent.
That's what I'm told.
And also, I'm told that additionally, $8 to $8.5 million from last year's fund balance was put into the budget because they were having a shortfall. The real fund balance is somewhere probably between $4 and $7 million, which is very, very low and does not meet the state guidelines for that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Leadership
Also
continues. Yeah.
I'm also told that the June 3rd budget that was presented for open conversation at a meeting was then taken back and adjusted, and all kinds of changes were made, and then that budget was actually approved without going back for further public comment.
Well, I'm
told that one of the commissioners, rumor has it, is going to resign in order to put a different person in their spot come into the year.
that is
That is the rumor.
That is the rumor that's selected from a two-time loser.
Well, I don't want to say that about her, but my point is...
Well, we're on the same page.
Well, the other thing I was told is that the money going to the sheriff's department is only going to create raises, good raises. All county employees will get a raise, but the real raises for the sheriff's department are only going to include the deputies themselves. So, they're not raising the officers, the ranking people, the detectives, and all those folks as well as just the deputies. So there's a lot going on that the public needs to know about.
And don't know about it unless you get it secondhand.
Right. And I just thought that in case you had not talked about those things, that they ought to be coming up.
Well, I did have at the top of my list a discussion about what was on the social media about the discussion of the chief of the commissioners and Sheriff Stone, and that I saw 200 and some comments, and not one was in favor of what the commissioners were saying.
Well, the other thing is, I think we're looking at somewhere about a 29% increase in property taxes too, to balance that budget.
Well, all of that I have heard too, and none of that sounds good.
No. Well, every time you take a dollar out of the public coffer, so to speak, you limit growth in the economy. And every time you cut those dollars, the economy grows.
Well,
So,
it does, every time, and in my opinion, the only reason the market is maintained strong is the anticipation that Trump's gonna win.
well, I think that might be true.
Well, that's why,
But I just wanted to make sure that you'd heard, if you hadn't not heard those things, that I threw them out there for your
well, I appreciate
consumption,
it.
if you will.
Most of it we have, particularly of the insider trading of trying to bring somebody in that can't get elected to be on the commissioner board. And if that's the case, I've also talked to the ones that can make it not happen. And so let's stay in touch. If you hear anything else, call us back, okay?
I'll do it. Thank you, my friend. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so the statements that were on the morning show that we just heard, I'd like to review those and provide some factual information for you and the public. The first statement that was false was that the county's fund balance is nowhere near $29 to $30 million that has been stated, that $14 to $17 million of those monies was given to the county from the state for the Recovery Act from COVID. The fact is, Nash County's financial reports can be easily accessed on Nash County's website. The 2023 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, the ACFR, page 18, provides a balance sheet as of June 30th, 2023. Under the first column, which is titled General Fund, the unassigned general fund balance reported is $23,741,367. The American Rescue Plan funds, which is the second column on that balance sheet, is $13,381,372. While these funds were referred to as being from the state, they are actually federal funds, and they come to Nash County through the state and are accounted for separately. The next item that was reported falsely, additionally, $8 to $8.5 million from last year's fund balance was put into the budget because they were having a shortfall. The fact is, the FY24 budget, so that's July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, included $117,778,300 in general fund expenditures. In order to balance revenues and expenditures, $8,550,000 of unassigned fund balance was used as a balancing factor. Historically, this amount is a large balancing factor for Nash County. This was a conscious decision, considering that the revaluation was in progress and to avoid a tax rate in fiscal year ~24. After the $8,550,000 was allocated to balance the FY24 budget, $23,741,367 was still available in unassigned fund balance. The third false report, the real fund balance is probably somewhere between $4 and $7 million, which is very, very low and does not meet state guidelines for that. The fact is, there is no state law or guidance that requires any specific level of fund balance available by a local government. There is some history in the state that has led some to believe that the requirement is at least 8%. This amount, 8%, provides working capital for about 1 month of general fund expenditures. Nash County has a fund balance policy that states, unassigned fund balance available for appropriation at the close of each fiscal year shall be no less than 20% of general fund expenditures. Nash County has maintained an unassigned fund balance for the past 5 years between approximately 21% and 30%. The fourth false report. On June 3rd, the budget that was presented for an open conversation at a meeting was then taken back and adjusted, and all kinds of changes were made, and then that budget was approved without going back for further public comment. The fact is, in both the budget message presented to the Board of Commissioners on May 20th, 2024, and the budget public hearing presented to the Board of Commissioners on June 3rd, 2024, the overall fiscal year 25 proposed budget, which includes the general fund, enterprise funds, special revenue funds, and internal services funds, was $142,973,213. The fiscal year proposed general fund budget was proposed to be $125,469,132. Do we go to the next one there? In the FY25 budget ordinance adoption agenda item that the county manager presented on June 17th, 2024, the overall FY proposed budget, which includes general fund, enterprise fund, special revenue fund, internal services funds, was the same, $142,973,213, and the general fund budget was proposed at $125,469,132. The only changes that were made between June 3rd and June 17th included making a final adjustment for salaries in our emergency services department, which resulted in approximately $100,000 difference between the public safety budget and the general government budget. Throughout the budget process, staff had to rely on preliminary estimates in lieu of having final numbers. We worked up until the very end, the morning of June 17th, 2024, entering final numbers based on the salary study results and administrative decisions based on those results. Once final numbers were entered into the budget, a variance of approximately $100,000 was realized versus the original estimates. The fifth false report. One of the commissioners, rumor has it, is going to resign in order to put a different person in their spot come the end of the year. The fact is, no commissioner on the board plans to resign. False report number 6. The money going to the sheriff's department is only going to create raises, good raises. All county employees are going to get a raise. The real raises for the sheriff's department are only going to include the deputies themselves. So they're not raising the officers, the ranking people, the detectives, and all of those folks as well, just the deputies. So there's a lot that the public needs to know about. Fact. The raises that are approved in the budget for the sheriff's office, it is an office, not a department, He has taught us that over the years. Our deputy, 19.5%, senior deputy, 15.3%, master deputy, 9.1%, sergeant detective, 5%, lieutenant, 6.8%, captain, 10.6%, major, 7.4%, and chief deputy, 5%. Anyone wishing to see the actual data for salaries can go to the Nash County website and click where it says, click here. It will take you to a page that has many links to budget information. At the top of our list is our fiscal year 25 approved budget. Under that is the recommended budget, and under that is the FY25 public safety pay study information. False report number 7. I think we're looking at somewhere about 29% increase in property taxes to balance the budget. Fact. Nash County performed a revaluation of property based on North Carolina law. The Board of Commissioners adopted a budget for the upcoming fiscal year with a new tax rate. Nash County's rate went from 67 cents per 100 valuation to 63 cents per 100 valuation. While the tax rate was reduced 4 cents per 100 valuation, this change will result in various percent increases and decreases in property tax, dependent on the individual property. We've got some examples to look at. So if you have a home that was valued at $190,000 in 2023, and that value went to $230,000 in 2024, you can see from the chart what the annual taxes would have been in 2023 and what they will be in 2024 based on the rate change. When you do the math to subtract those and divide, you come up with a 13.8% increase in property tax. For example, number 2, if you had a home that was valued at $525,000 in 2023, and that value went to $645,000 in 2024, you can see what the taxes would be for that property in 2023 at the 67-cent tax rate, and 2024 at the 63-cent tax rate. And when you do the math on that property, it is a 15.5% increase in property taxes. The third example, if you had a home that was valued at $155,000 in 2023, and that value went to $120,000 in 2024, there again you can see what the annual taxes would be on that property in 23 and in 24, and that's actually a 27% decrease in property taxes. The revaluation process resulted in a cumulative personal and commercial property value increase across Nash County of about 28%. That's a value increase, not a tax increase. We'll now review some statements, comments, and speculation that provides an opportunity for Nash County to share factual information with our citizens. In a recent City of Rocky Mount Council meeting, funding for the United Community Ministries was discussed. False report number 8. It was stated that one of the counties supports United Community Ministries. Then the question was asked, which one? And the response was Edgecombe County. It was reported that Edgecombe County contributes $30,000 to United Community Ministries and Nash County does not contribute anything. It was stated that the city would verify that. The fact: Nash County has provided United Community Ministries $30,000 annually since fiscal year 2010, with the exception of fiscal years 2013 and 2014, when we provided $29,400 those 2 years. In fiscal year 25, in the fiscal year 25 budget, Nash County has $30,000 budgeted for United Community Ministries, making this the 16th consecutive year Nash County has provided funding. That's a total of $478,800 Nash County has contributed to United Community Ministries. In addition, Nash County reached out to United Community Ministries when we established our application process for providing the ARPA funding for nonprofits. United Community Ministries was provided with our application and received follow-up email reminders about available funds. Nash County did not receive a request for ARPA funding from United Community Ministries. I'd like to address some social media posts concerning emergency medical services and ambulance assistance from neighboring counties. Nash County has mutual aid with our neighboring counties. And as part of the North Carolina Emergency Management System, all 100 counties have mutual aid. We asked staff to look into the period of time between 2024 and 2020, a specific period of time, and that was January to June, to see what mutual aid Nash County received and provided. The counties that we have regular interactions with are Franklin, Edgecombe, Halifax, Johnston, Wake, and Wilson. From January 2024 to June 2024, Nash County received 34 mutual aid assists. Nash County provided 9 mutual aid assists. Between January 2020 and June 2020, Nash County received 37 mutual aid assists and provided 10 mutual aid assists. We actually don't track the assists that we provide as well as we track what we receive. So moving forward, we will start tracking that information better to be able to report on it. But as you can see from these numbers, they help to illustrate that Nash County's mutual aid volume has remained constant, even though our citizens' sensitivity and awareness that mutual aid takes place has increased. And finally, I'd like to address our Emergency Services Director sharing with social media that he is stepping down. My administration team will be working with the leadership of Emergency Medical Services, that's EMS, 911 Telecommunications, the Fire Marshal's Office, and Emergency Management. All of these units of service have leadership in place, and we will work with them. And as early as this morning, I was accused of firing Mr. Cameron on social media, so I would like to state that I did not fire Mr. Cameron. He did submit his letter of resignation to me, and I've been asked what the plan is for moving forward. I will say that as we did the pay study, we learned that having the position of Emergency Services Director is in Pitt County and Johnston County, and not other counties. So what we would like to do is take this opportunity to have my staff and administration work with those leadership teams in those 4 units of service and find out what the need is for that position. We will be assessing that over the next several months, and I will be able to report to the board whether we will be filling that position again or not. Any questions?
Questions of the manager on this agenda item?
Well, I have a comment and probably a follow-up question. With the media as it is today, people seem to don't care whether information is factual or false. If it satisfies their agenda, they're going to promote it, whether it's right or wrong. And it's a shame that we've gotten that way with all this technology, social media. It's using now, and it's somewhere, these people need to, if they're going to put it on, they need to know the facts. But in most cases, they're not even interested in the facts. We want something that I can promote my agenda, hidden or open. And I just think that this was good this morning that you brought out the facts versus false information that's already out there. And people tend to want to hear the negative rather than the positive. And that's a shame. But my question is, have you, I forgot to turn my phone off, excuse me a second. My question is, are you communicating with those that put this false information out? You may not even know who they are, or it may be one individual person, but have you?
I think I just did.
You do have some.
No, I think us putting the information out today is getting the information out.
Okay. That's good.
Other questions, comments from commissioners?
Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Leggett, go ahead, and then Commissioner
Okay,
Lewis.
thank you. Madam Manager, I appreciate you taking the time to clear up some of these false accusations, and I appreciate you sharing with us so promptly the news about the Emergency Services Director. Most of you on the board know that I've always been a strong supporter of emergency services and public safety in the county. I've always supported their leadership and will continue to support whoever's in those roles at emergency services. I just wanted to encourage you not to wait too long to fill that position. It's an important position. If there's an emergency in our county, someone has to be in charge, and that person being over those different departments has a very important role. So I encourage you not just to look within, but to look around the counties. Looks like you already are, so I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Commissioner Wilkins?
I just wanted to say, Madam Manager, well done. It's about time. We did address everything going on in social media, and many that comment on social media don't even live in Nash County. A lot of them aren't even registered voters. The ones that are, I asked them if they are listening to come to the source. Ask the question, call your county commissioner, and let us know what you're thinking. I had a call, and I calmed that woman's fears. And she couldn't believe that we were going to pay what we paid. She evidently had not looked at the budget. She had not heard our commissioner meetings. And it's just something that has to be done, and we need to address it, because people, because they don't get their way, they don't get what they want without any regard for anyone else, what anyone else wants and needs to stop all this going on social media, trashing Nash County, trashing the Board of Commissioners when we were elected by the people to do what we need to do. And so I thank you for doing that. Mr. Chairman, I yield the floor.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilkerson. Didn't ask you to yield the floor, but if you're finished, that's fine. Other comments?
I just would like to make
Mr.
one
Outlaw.
brief comment, just to make sure it's clearly understood. I have no plans to resign from this board. Anyone that thinks that I have those plans, they have been very much misled. And it really incenses me that people would just make up information like that and just spread it all over the county. I have no intention of resigning. I was elected by the people. I'm doing the work of the people. The few that think I am not, then I can't, I'll just deal with that the best way I can. But I'm going to continue to serve on this board. So that'd be very clear to anyone that has any questions about it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Other comments?
Well,
Let me see if I got a new commissioner, Mr. Bellfield. Anyone else wish to say anything? Commissioner Harrington?
Yeah. Madam County Manager, I appreciate you bringing out the facts. I probably don't agree with playing the video. I agree a lot with Commissioner Bellfield about false information that spreads not just with our county, but throughout the United States and the world. And sometimes you just cannot combat every false statement. But I guess I feel like if we're going to come here every month and play videos from social media, that I wouldn't find that helpful. Now, the facts that you brought out and the misinformation, the way that you presented that, I would go along with that. But I think we kind of promotes false information when you replay it.
Others?
I just want to say I appreciate the manager and bringing these facts. Nobody knows more than I do the lies that's been told for a while. And the truth don't hurt, but lies just spread and stuff's made up and told that's not true. And people just need to be more aware. They need to get involved. They need to see what's going on when we approve a budget or in a proposed budget. So I appreciate what you've done this morning. I think it was needed.
Thank you.
Mr. Bellfield?
oh, I was just going to follow up like Commissioner Outlaw. Some think that I may resign. As long as my health is good, I have at least 2 more years on this board, and I plan to serve them out, and I have told those who fishing around and hoping that I would come to a point where I would resign, and they see to it they get that person in my place. But and I have made it clear that when I ran in 22 for re-election, that I was going to serve those 4 years out. And Lord knows what happens after that.
Thank you, Mr. Bellfield. I'm going to be very brief. I just want to thank the manager for his presentation this morning. When we run for elected office, we expect some criticism. The level has gotten worse than it's been in my 22 years on this board. But, you know, I still expect it, and I'm willing to take it. I'm going to do what I was elected to do by the majority of my people. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I won't be affected by comments like that. But I think what you did this morning was really for your employees. And quite frankly, I appreciate you doing that. We have great employees in Nash County, great department heads. Anybody that watches our meetings or any meeting I'm in, you've always heard me say that. I appreciate every one of them. And this was really a slam on several of our department heads. And it does irritate me that they would go off on tangents and criticize people that do a great job for their county. Just look at the people that you may be hurting that are employed here. That's the thing that bothers me most personally. I don't enjoy the criticism, but it's okay. I mean, you don't have to run for an office. I chose to run, so I'm willing to put up with that, as I've said before. But you do have to have employment. You don't have to work for Nash County. And quite frankly, I think it's important to defend our people because we don't want to lose our key department heads or anyone else that works for Nash County because of false information out there. I feel like at this point, we are losing a couple of key employees. I think this type of stuff had some percent of involvement in maybe some of those people choosing that. I don't know that for sure, but I do understand the stress that they are under, and the word burnout was used a couple of times, but you can continue to do what you need to do to support your employees, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will say, you can see on the screen now, there is an email address, info@nashcountync.gov. You don't have to pick up the phone and call us and talk to us. You can just send us an email with your questions. If you want to fact check something for yourself that you're hearing, we'll be glad to respond and provide information to the public.
Okay. And you did say you intended on doing this each meeting if
If
items warranted?
if there are things that need to be addressed between meetings, yes, we'll have it on the agenda.
As commissioners, as we hear things, we should also pass them to you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's great to hear.
good job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Commissioner Wilkins, do you wish to do that this time, or you want me to move a little?
Oh, it was
Oh, okay.
Commissioner-elect.
Okay, we'll keep moving then. Item number 9 is Nash County's legislative goals, and I'll call on Emily Moore at this time to make this presentation. And she will explain the process of how we got to this point.
All right, so the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, NCACC, is currently involved in its 2024-2025 legislative goals process. Every 2 years, in the months preceding a long session of the General Assembly, the NCACC engages counties in this process, which enables county commissioners across the state to reach a consensus on legislative priorities and speak with one voice through the NCACC. To develop its goals, the NCACC is presently soliciting input from all 100 counties. Attached in Exhibit A is a list of possible legislative priorities from Nash County. All of the goals fall under the NCACC goal categories of agriculture, environment, general government, health and human services, justice and public safety, and public education. Following approval by the county commissioners, we will submit a copy of the resolution and Exhibit A, the legislative goals, to the NCACC. We will also submit the required separate legislative goals proposal form online for each priority by the September goals submission deadline. So the recommended action. We are recommending that the board adopt the attached resolution and approve its submission to the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. And I can read the resolution as well as Exhibit A if you would like. Exhibit A, these are the legislative goals that were discussed at our legislative dinner on May 30th.
Please do.
Okay. So we will start with the resolution. Resolution of the Nash County Board of Commissioners to adopt and submit legislative goals to the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. Whereas the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, the association, is currently involved in its 2024-2025 legislative goals process, and whereas the legislative goals process enables county commissioners across the state of North Carolina to come to a consensus on legislative priorities and speak with one voice on the issues of greatest importance to the counties. And whereas the association is soliciting counties to submit their proposed legislative goals for consideration in the 2024-2025 legislative goals process. And whereas the Nash County Board of Commissioners desires to adopt certain legislative goals that it believes to be of great importance to Nash County as well as to the other counties in the state of North Carolina, and to submit the legislative goals to the association for consideration in the 2024-2025 legislative goals process. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Nash County Board of Commissioners hereby adopts the legislative goals set forth in Exhibit A attached to this resolution, the goals, and directs that the goals be submitted to the association for consideration in the 2024-2025 legislative goals process. So for Exhibit A, NCACC goal, agriculture. Seek legislation to provide recurring state funding initiatives related to farmland preservation. NCACC goal, environment. Support recurring funding for stream river debris removal. Seek legislation to support clean water funds and support increased funding for water and wastewater projects in Tier 1 and Tier 2 counties. NCACC goal, general government. Support funding to allow for continued expansion of digital infrastructure, broadband capability to the unserved, underserved. If a casino is proposed for Nash County in the future, request and support a local referendum to allow eligible voters to decide this matter. Support legislation that would allow for the affected county's input in non-contiguous annexation by a municipality. Take into consideration future rezoning that is inconsistent with the county's land use plan, and obligate the municipality to extend services at the expense of the municipality that are already provided in the existing corporate limits to annexed territories with substantially the same level of services as enjoyed of the municipality. NCACC goal, health and human services. Seek additional funding for child welfare services, including foster care related expenses, and support legislation to allow for additional state resources towards county DSS agencies, particularly in areas of child and adult protective services. NCACC goal, justice and public safety. Seek legislation to increase the amount of funding paid to county jails by the state to the full cost reimbursement for housing sentenced inmates, and support recurring funding for a mental health transport initiative, including the provision of personnel and resources for county sheriff's offices. NCACC goal, public education. Support recurring funding for school resource officers in all elementary schools, in addition to increased funding to aid counties in implementing school security measures. And finally, support increased funding for public schools, including additional lottery funding for current expenses, renovation and/or improvements to facilities, and new construction.
Any questions on those items? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the resolution at this time.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Leggett, second by Commissioner Belfield. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign. Agenda item stands approved, and thank you for all your work on that item. I believe you have the next item as well, which is number 10, a urgent repair loan program for 2024.
Yes. The North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, NCHFA, has awarded Nash County $132,000 under the 2024 cycle of the Urgent Repair Program, URP 24. This program is funded through the NC Housing Trust Fund. Nash County included a $5,000 match to strengthen its grant application, bringing the total project budget to $137,000. Goals of the URP 24 housing program are to alleviate housing conditions which pose an imminent threat to the life or safety of very low-income homeowners with special needs, and to provide accessibility modifications and other repairs necessary to prevent displacement of very low-income homeowners with special needs, such as the frail, elderly, and persons with disabilities. The program does not require that the entire home be brought up to usual rehabilitation standards, but can be helpful in stabilizing deterioration. A URP 24 home must be occupied by someone with a special need and with household income at or below 50% of the median household income. Special needs households include those with an individual who is elderly, disabled, or a military veteran, single parent, large family, or with a child that has elevated blood lead levels. Household income for URP 2024 in Nash County cannot exceed $44,300 for a family of 4. The maximum funding to repair a home under URP 24 is $12,000. Maximum program support, soft cost per home is $1,000. Maximum administrative cost per home are 10% of total hard and soft cost, not to exceed $1,000. The deferred loan, promissory note, is forgiven at a rate of $3,000 per year. URP 24 regulations require that policies be developed for procurement and disbursement, plus client assistance. Draft policies attached have been reviewed by the funding agency, NCHFA, to ensure program updates are included. Nash County has used similar policies successfully for a number of past URP programs. Per the grant application, Nash County will contract with McDavid Associates for housing support costs and administration. Nash County will repair approximately 10 homes through URP 24. Nash County is scheduled to take URP 24 applications from September 16th through September 20th, following execution of a funding agreement with NCHFA. So the recommended actions are to approve the policies subject to specific amendments recommended by the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, and authorize the county manager or her designee to execute documents and reports for administering the 2024 Urgent Repair Program. And your attachments that you have are both the URP 24 Nash County Assistance Policy and the URP 24 Nash County Procurement and Disbursement Policy.
All right, any questions of Ms. Moore on this item? Mr. Belfield?
While is this grant at $132,000 coming from the Housing Finance Agency, North Carolina Housing Finance? And it's, the average home in repair is gonna run at least about $12,000. I've seen quite a few of them running 15.
With this program, the $132,000 is the maximum amount that Nash County could apply for, and we did put an additional $5,000 match towards that. But this program also only allows a maximum of $12,000 to repair a home. So this program is not intended to repair an entire home, but to kind of put a Band-Aid on it. So it can help make some necessary repairs to keep the home livable, but it will not go in and repair the entire home.
I understand that, but the cost is still there. But that was the max that you could request, no more. We need to talk to them. We need to talk to them.
Mr. Bellfield, that is on this particular program, the maximum we could request. And the
yeah,
amount
I
we
know.
can spend on this particular program is the $12,000. Now, we have several other programs that we're able to do a lot more work on homes, but this particular one, we can just get that worst thing they need done as long as it's under $12,000.
Yeah, I'm aware of other programs, which is a lot more.
Yes, sir.
But $12,000, I don't care how you get involved in maintenance, repairs, to make it livable.
Yes, sir.
Some of them are running over $12,000.
I think we fully understand
Yeah,
that, but,
I know some as high as 15.
well, we've done some recently up as high as 40 and 50, but it's other programs, of course.
Oh, yeah, when you
We
really
get
getting
those.
into remodeling a home, you talking about $50,000.
Well, I'm sure the staff will pick particular homes that fit this program, and then other ones that they know gonna need a lot more, they would shift them into other programs. But that's Emily and her staff's job to see what fits best.
For
But
this-
we're gonna take what we can get, of course.
I said
Well,
this program
I
really
don't disagree
excels.
with that. I don't disagree with that. We take what we can get.
Yes, sir.
But we can urge
We
them
can.
to take a look at it and maybe do better.
Right. Ms. Moore?
I was gonna say, this program tends to excel at putting a new roof on a home.
Right.
Replacing a HVAC, or putting like a handicap accessible ramp, is where this one really excels.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the policy as outlined and to designate the county manager or someone else that she may choose to designate to execute the documents as needed. Is there a motion?
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Harrington, second by Commissioner Bellfield. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Motion stands approved. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item number 11 is a service weapon award request. Major, who is going to make this presentation? Okay. Good morning, sir.
How are y'all?
Good morning.
All right. We have a service weapon award request for Lieutenant Lankos. Lieutenant Lankos began his career with the Nash County Sheriff's Office in 1998. He began his service to the Nash County as a patrol deputy and was promoted later to sergeant in the patrol division. Lieutenant Lankos was then transferred in 2015 to the investigation division, where he was assigned CID. He then was assigned to the narcotics division in 2018 and began his career with the task force officer DEA unit in 2018, where he has served since then, and he just retired this past Friday.
Okay.
So, and we like to recommend that Lieutenant Lankos receive his service weapon.
All right. Any questions from board members? Is he with you today?
No, he's in a meeting in Raleigh. He had to go up there and turn all this stuff in, then he'll be here this afternoon.
Okay.
To turn all his stuff in here to the sheriff's office.
Gotcha. All right. I'd entertain a motion this time to honor the request.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Leggett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Combs. Questions on those motions? If you don't give him the service award, does that mean he would stay possibly?
Well, he said he might come back and do some part-time.
Okay, all right. Just kidding in a way, but certainly hate to lose anyone, but,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say, please thank him for his service.
Yes, ma'am, and he said
And,
he said sorry he couldn't be here this morning.
Yeah, it sounds like he had a really good career, stellar career, and I do appreciate it, and sorry for your long wait.
Oh, yeah. Thank y'all.
All right, I have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any questions to the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Motion certainly carries. So anyone, other commissioners wish to say anything then? I did too what Commissioner Wilkins said, by all means. Has there been a promotion that we don't know about?
Yes, sir. Last week, we got promoted to major.
Okay, I was not aware of that. Congratulations. I noticed he called you major, but I
That's
just
all right.
hadn't been made aware of that. Well, congratulations.
Thank y'all.
Well earned, sir.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is a highway safety grant resolution, and I have Curtis Moore is going, okay, make this presentation. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Good morning once again, and thank you to the Board of Commissioners for the opportunity to stand before you today to request your support. As the board knows, in 2018, Nash County was granted 2 officers for the Governor's Highway Safety Program for a crash reduction team. The crash reduction team focuses on school zones, speed and restraint enforcement, and high crash complaint areas, and driving while impaired enforcement. Under that grant, the Governor Highway Safety members wrote over 300 occupant protective citations, over 3,000 speed-related citations, and 300-plus DWI citations. After that grant, the team was maintained to continue crash reduction efforts through high-visibility traffic safety enforcement. Subsequently, the Nash County Sheriff's Office applied for and was granted a second Governor's Highway Safety contract, of which this is the 3rd year, 6 years in total between both contracts. In May of this year, Governor Highway Safety Program members conducted over 290 traffic stops, which culminated in 344 traffic and criminal-related charges. And last week, in a one-night joint agency effort, 4 people were charged with DWI. All of these Governor's Highway Safety activities undoubtedly saved lives for irreparable damage. On June 6th, of this year, the Nash County Sheriff's Office was approved by the state for the 3rd year of the current contract. The Nash County Sheriff's Office is here today to request approval for another year from the Nash County Board of Commissioners to continue the Governor Highway Safety Program. The funding of the grant is 50-50 shared costs between federal and local budgets. Financial resources have been budgeted. With your approval of the resolution, the Governor's Highway Safety Program Crash Reduction Team will continue to serve Nash and the surrounding counties through its high-visibility enforcement to continue the reduction of speed-related, unrestrained, and alcohol-related fatalities, as well as to inform and educate on the importance of safe vehicle operation and traffic safety. Once again, I would like to thank the Board of Commissioners for your continued support.
Thank you, Major Moore. Questions of Major Moore on this item? Mr. Wilkins.
We normally get a copy of the resolution in our agenda packet, and I did not see one.
I have it, if you wish to have it.
Did anyone else? Okay. If you, yeah, I would like a copy, to eventually see a copy.
Yes, ma'am.
Other questions, comments?
Did he read the resolution?
Sorry?
Can you read it?
Yes, absolutely. It reads, the North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program Local Government Resolution. Whereas the Nash County Sheriff's Office has completed an application contract for the traffic safety funding, and that the Nash County Board of Commissioners has thoroughly considered the problem identified and has reviewed the project and as described in the contract. Therefore, now be it resolved by the Nash County Board of Commissioners in open meeting assembled in the city of Nashville, North Carolina, this first day of July 2024 as follows: that the project referenced above is to the best interest of the governing body and the general public, and that Chairman Robbie Davis is authorized to file on behalf of the governing body an application contract in the form prescribed by the Governor's Highway Safety Program for federal funding in the amount of $185,564 to be made to the governing body to assist in defraying the cost of the project described in the contractual application. And the governing body has formally appropriated the cash contributed of $185,564 as required by the project contract. that the project director designated in the application contract shall furnish or make arrangements for other appropriate persons to furnish such information, data, documents, and reports as required by the contract, if approved, or as may be required by the Governor's Highway Safety Program, and the certified copies of this resolution be included as part of the contract referenced above, and that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
In defense of the sheriff, I think we all realize, I got a call from him late last week about this needing to take place today. And it's probably why the paperwork didn't seem to be quite right, because we added it at the last minute, at the end of, just before the agenda went out. So we're in a good spot this morning. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Have a motion by Commissioner Combs, there a second?
Second.
Have a lot of seconds, I'll let you pick them, Madam Clerk. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign. Motion does indeed carry. Mr. Boyd, do you think this, I'm gonna ask you a question you probably don't know the answer to, but do you think this program will continue? I know this is our last year under our authorization. Have you heard anything whether it will continue in future years or not?
I have not heard anything at this particular point, sir.
Okay. Well, we certainly hope it does, because we've been doing this a long time.
Yes, sir.
What you just read, very impressive what has been done with these people.
No, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is tax refunds, and I'm going to take care of those, and then we'll pause, take a break until we get to the 11 o'clock hour. So, excuse me, next item is the monthly tax report, item 13, so we'll take care of that in item 14, and then we'll pause for item 15. Is that pleasure? If that's the pleasing of the board. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. At this time, I would like to present you all with the monthly tax report. As you all know, this report is designed to keep the board current on activities in the tax collector's office. The report is for your information only and does not require approval. However, it is recommended that you accept the report so that it may be noted in the minutes. And of course, if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. I would like to say that we did close out the end of the fiscal year on Friday. We were happy at where we ended, not quite where we were last year, but we're very happy to get what we did. And I'll be reporting on that at next month's meeting.
Need to double check your figures, I guess.
Yes, sir. And we still have motor vehicles to put in as well.
Fully understood. Any questions of Ms. Sumner on this item? We'll take it for the record, and if you want to go ahead with your tax refunds as well.
Yes, sir.
Item number 14.
Yes, we do have some refunds that we need the board's approval for so that we could disperse those to the taxpayers.
Any questions on these refunds? Seeing none, entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins, there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Arrington, Commissioner Leggett. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries as well. And I had a commissioner call for a recess, so we're going to take that at this time. And going to be a long recess, so we really don't need to do. We'll take a short recess, and then we'll come back for the equalization and review.
Thank you.
Back in session at this time. We would normally be on item 15. It has a time designated of 11 a.m. Therefore, we're going to move to item number 16, which is budget amendments, and I'll call on Donna Wood to go through these at this time.
Good morning. I have one budget amendment, and it's for a grant that we've received from Golden Leaf. So this is for the 2024-25 fiscal year. This amendment is presented to budget $34,000 grant funds received from Golden Leaf for the Golden Leaf Site Program, Whitaker's Business and Industry Center Due Diligence Project. It requires a local match of $4,000. The local match of $4,000 was originally budgeted and Economic Development, and is being transferred to Grants and Intergovernmental to simplify the administration of the project. So this is a budget amendment for $34,000.
I guess we're working under new budget at this
We
time?
are. Today is the first day of our new year.
So this is not last year's money
No,
you're
this is
transferring? Okay.
Or the new year.
Mr. Boone, are you able to tell us a little bit about this grant? What we're going to be doing? Is this the site that we have left on the 95 side?
Yes, this is a site in the cul-de-sac at Whitaker's Business Industry Center.
And what will it consist of?
That's honestly, at this point, that's about all I know. I know that is a site and it's related to due diligence, but Susan was primarily running the
Okay.
point on this.
So we're doing due diligence on that site?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got you, which is the last site we have there that's not under current contract.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Any questions on this item? And this is your only budget?
This is my only budget amendment.
Starting out the year very clean, aren't you?
We are, and we hope to keep it that way.
Okay. All right, no question, entertain a motion to approve this budget amendment.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins, second by Commissioner Ayrton. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Ma'am, light day for you. Next item on the agenda is board appointments. Can we do that in about 7 minutes, ma'am? I mean, I'm just asking.
Yes.
You don't have many?
No, we have board appointments.
Okay, go ahead then.
We'll do it quickly.
No, I'm not pushing you.
No. It doesn't take long. Good morning.
I can't do it before 11 o'clock.
Yes, we'll make it. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we have several board appointments here. First is the ABC Board Chairman. The Nash County ABC Board has voted to reappoint Mr. Kenneth E. Gilliam to chair the board for the 2024-2025 year. This action complies with North Carolina General Statute 18B 700A. The appointing authority shall designate one member as chairman. The ABC Board is requesting your approval of the reappointment of Mr. Gilliam as chairman.
Questions on that item? Entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion, we reappoint Mr. Gillum as chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, there a second? Second by Commissioner Bellfield. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by like side? Appointment stand approved. Next item.
Thank you. Next is Nash Healthcare Systems Board of Commissioners. Per the new operating agreement, the Nash Healthcare Systems expanded its board to include 2 Nash County Commissioner appointments. They now have a 15-member board. We are recommending this board's approval of Commissioner Gwen Wilkins to serve as the second commissioner on the Nash Healthcare System Board.
I understand what we'll actually be doing is recommending her, and correct me, manager, if I'm wrong, and it will go to the hospital, and she'll be vetted like all members are, and then we'll get it back from the hospital. That's when we will actually approve that. Do you agree with me, Commissioner Leggett and Madam Manager?
Okay.
Okay, all right. I think that's the process that we agreed to there in the negotiations of everything. So actually what we'll be doing, the board will be approving the person we're going to send through the established network of getting a board member.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Any questions on this item? No. Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion for recommending Commissioner Wilkins to the hospital for approval for the new board member.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Leggett. I'm going to take it from Leggett since she's on the board. Second from Commissioner Ayrton. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? That motion indeed carries.
Thank you. Next, we have the STEP Partnership, Strategic Twin Counties Educational Partnership. Please consider the new appointment of Susan Phelps to the Strategic Twin Counties Educational Partnership. Per the STEP bylaws, this partnership is to have an at-large board member appointed by the Nash County Commissioners. Susan Phelps is eligible, willing, and recommended for appointment. If approved, her 2-year term will run from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2026.
Questions on this appointment? Entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins, there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Outlaw. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries as well.
Thank you. Next, we have the Braswell Memorial Library Board of Trustees. So this Board of County Commissioners is asked to identify a replacement for the Braswell Memorial Library Board of Trustees Chair. Dr. LaShonda Washington stepped down as chair effective June 1st, 2024. She was actually serving the unexpired term of Ms. Elizabeth Overton, which expired on June 30th, 2024. And so we are looking to ask the commissioners to help identify a replacement.
See, the way this thing is stated, it's not clear to myself, maybe clear to everyone else, but she is stepping down from chair. Is she stepping off of the board
Off the
totally?
board altogether.
Okay, so she's stepping off the board altogether, okay. So we're not looking, we don't replace that chair, we put a member in her place, is that correct? Is that what we're doing?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's for informational purposes, and you're asking us to help identify someone, or did someone on staff have somebody they want to recommend?
We don't have a recommendation at this time. We can certainly look, into that if the board would like for staff to do that, or the board. It's up to you.
How many appointments do we get?
I think it's,
I mean, we're not in a situation of concern about districts. I think we only just get a couple anyway, don't we?
yeah, it's not enough
Okay,
to
so
cover
not
all the districts.
It's board, and no one else opposed to it. I'd like for staff to help us identify that
Okay.
person that would be a good fit to be on that board.
Okay, we can
Is
do
that
that.
okay with everybody?
Mr. Chairman,
It is an important position, yes, ma'am.
I would like to get staff's input, but also if any commissioners have any input.
Sure.
Of course.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
didn't mean to circumvent that at all. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Finally, so the Nash County Board of Adjustment, again, the Board of Commissioners is asked to appoint 2 new members to the Nash County Board of Adjustment to serve as alternate member number 2 and alternate member number 3. Although not a requirement, the board typically seeks to appoint at least 1 member representing each of the 7 commissioner districts. The Board of Adjustment currently includes 1 member board from each district except Commissioner District Number 7 is represented by Chairman Davis. Since the Board of Adjustment includes 8 members, it is recommended that the board appoint 1 new member from Commissioner District Number 7 and a new member from any of the commissioner districts.
Okay. I have a person I've identified, but I have not got confirmation from them yet, so
Okay.
I should have that at the next meeting. I tried to get it before today, but was not able to obtain that. Any other commissioner working on someone else? Need 1 more besides the 7, the one that I'm going to bring.
Tia, did you get an application that I forwarded to you on Sean Lucas?
An application? I did not.
Well, I sent you one, and I'll send it again and address it next month, I guess.
Was it for this particular job?
Yeah, Board of Adjustment.
Okay, okay. That gentleman needs another job.
Huh?
He needs another job,
Well,
if it's who I think it is.
Sean, yeah, that's who you think,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
He's very
certainly-
well qualified.
He's very well qualified. I agree.
okay, well, I'll look for that, and you said you would have one.
I will be sending you one before the week's out, I hope.
Okay, thank you.
I'll forward you this one again right now, and it might be my phone. It's had a lot of problems lately, but anyway, I'll get it to you.
Thank you so much.
I got the same phone you got then, Commissioner Combs.
That's
All
all,
right,
that's
that's it?
all I have.
Okay.
2
Timing
minutes
perfect.
over, I apologize.
Thank you. No, we're good. All right, we go back up to item number 15, which is the Board of Equalization and Review, and I'll call on our tax assessor, Doris Sumner, at this time. Good morning, another time.
Good morning. At this time, we will do the Board of Equalization and Review in compliance with North Carolina General Statute 105-322. The Nash County Board of Equalization and Review will meet to hear upon request any and all taxpayers who own or control taxable property assessed for taxation in Nash County with respect to the valuation of such property. So I think we need to call the board back to order.
All right, entertain a motion to call the Board of Equalization and Review back to order at this time. Moved by Commissioner Outlaw, second by Commissioner Wilkins. Questions on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries, and in the same motion, we temporarily recess the Board of Commissioners at this time.
Yes, sir. And we do not have any docketed appeals scheduled for the board, VNR this morning.
Do not have any.
No, sir.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but
Instruct me what to do next then.
then I would like to, the board to offer a motion to adjourn the 2024 Board of Equalization and Review for the purpose of accepting any new appeals. And what this means is that you all can meet later for timely filed appeals that were presented during the informal process.
So would you mind telling me that one more time?
Okay,
It's a little
so-
bit confusing to me.
Yes, sir, we would like to go ahead and adjourn the meeting for the purposes of accepting any new appeals.
Okay.
Mhm.
New appeals, okay. But if you have some old ones that need to come to us, we would just schedule them.
Yes, sir.
Rather than schedule them today, we'd schedule it at the proper time.
Yes, sir,
Okay, I got it.
at a later date, yes, sir.
All right. Any questions on that, instructions? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the Board of Equalization and Review for this year, knowing that if we have any that have that would be for getting new appeals, but if we do need to reconvene for hearing any old appeals that have already been turned in, we could do that at a later date. So the motion is to, Commissioner Harrison's motion is to adjourn the meeting for the current year Equalization Board of Review for receiving any new appeals. I seconded that motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Combs. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the board, we did have a few appeals, but they were very few in number, based on the number of parcels we had. I think I remember that number, but I won't quote it, make myself wrong, but thank you for a job well done, your staff and our consultant that worked on that. I know everybody's not happy, but I think y'all did a great job, and for us to only hear the 4 or 5 that we've heard, it shows the testimony of what you have been able to do. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, we're now on item number 18, which is commissioner comments. Does any commissioner have any comments at this time?
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Leggett?
Okay. Do have one comment. I just wanted to come back to, about our emergency services director stepping down. I really think that we need to make it our mission to fill this position back and to fix whatever it is that's gotten us to this point. We do have some great staff down there, but we need a leader in that department. And whatever it is that got them to this point, if it was internal or if it's external things, we need to make sure that there's nothing going on that we are ignoring. We want to make sure that we've got a strong department moving forward. Thank you.
Other commissioners, comments? I'll be very brief on the housing report. Had another great month, particularly on the commercial side. Total permits on commercial that were issued in the month of June were $17,750,000. Large part of that was one of our industries, and another large part, of course, is the county itself and the shell building we're doing in conjunction with the town of Nashville. On new home permits, we had a total of 53, which was 36 stick-built homes and 17 modular units. They were 53 permits pooled by 27 different builders, which continue to show that we have a lot of builders that are interested in building in Nash County. And if we are able to continue to have anywhere near this number, it will help us to move forward to build our total assessed value, particularly on the commercial side, in the way that we really like to build it. So thank the staff down there in inspections for all they've done. Keep that department and permits coming in like they have, and been able to move them through the process. That, we'll move to item number 19. 19 is the manager's report, and I'll call on the manager, Stacy Saxler, at this time to make that report.
Thank you. I just have a couple of items. Just a reminder that county offices will be closed this Thursday to observe July 4th, our Day of Independence. And staff are chilling out with homemade popsicles and patriotic fun on Wednesday, July the 3rd, from 11 to 2 in the third floor break room. You're welcome to come and join us for that. We have a groundbreaking scheduled for Tuesday, July the 9th, for the Nashville Shell Building at 10 a.m. We will have a retirement celebration for Mr. Anderson Kirkland on Thursday, July the 25th at 2 p.m. So please plan to join us to show our appreciation for Mr. Kirkland's service. That'll be in the third floor break room as well. And also on the 25th is the third community conversation for the public to provide input for the county's opioid settlement action plan. This one is going to be held at the Bailey Town Hall from 6 to 8 p.m. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions of the manager report? I would encourage each commissioner to do attend one of these opioid settlement meetings if you get a chance. Each meeting thus far has been a little bit different, but there are some great conversations that have gone on in those meetings. Very touching conversations in this past one that Commissioner Arrington hosted down in the Drake area. But it is enlightening to see what the needs of the county are, and very glad that we are including the public as much as we are in making that decision. And I don't know what decision going to be in the end, but it's going to be a tough decision for somebody to make. Did you have something?
I do. I wanted to add just one thing. So prior to the one in Bailey, there is a meeting at the Ag Center on July the 11th. And so actually we'll count that one as our annual meeting, but we'll be right here at the National Ag Center on July 11th.
Okay, so the next one coming up is at the Ag Center on the 11th?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. All right, any other comments from commissioners at this time? If not, I'll call for a closed session at this time. The closed session is for attorney-client privilege and economic development, and if there are no other comments by commissioners, I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session at this time.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Belfield. Questions on that motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. We will go into closed session. Any action expect to be taken, Mr. Attorney? No, sir. Do not expect to have any, but we will return to this room to adjourn the meeting for July 1st. Thank you all. Call the regular Board of Commissioners meeting back to order at this time for July the 1st. There were no items that came up in closed session that warrants any action by this board. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to close the Board of Commissioners meeting for July the 1st, 2024 at this time. There's such a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Belfield. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilkins. Questions on the motion? Y'all not as eager to go home as you normally are. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank y'all.